When you make a promise in the House of Commons publicly, you acknowledge we can't believe those promises because they could be broken. In the manifesto, it's clear, you said, quote, Labour will not increase taxes on working people.
Keir Starmer is in serious trouble, and Labour just tried to hide the evidence inside today's budget. Behind the noise of £26 billion in tax rises, they buried a £1.8 billion digital ID scheme the government won't explain, won't confirm, and hasn't even designed. Experts are already calling it dystopian, and the unanswered questions are explosive. Stay with me, because what they tried to slip past the public will shock you. Rachel Reeves has been in front of cameras all day explaining the budget. Keir Starmer's doing the same. And it's the same old story from Labour. Deflection, gaslighting, blame everyone else. The media is focused on £26 billion in tax rises. Farmers are furious. Working people are getting hammered. Business owners are panicking. But while everyone's distracted, Labour slips something far more sinister into the budget documents. Something they desperately don't want you talking about. The Office for Budget Responsibility revealed it yesterday. Buried in their report, a digital ID scheme costing £1.8 billion over the next 3 years. Let me break down those numbers. £500 million in day-to-day spending, £1.3 billion in capital spending. Total cost, £1.8 billion. That's not a small program. That's a massive national infrastructure project, a complete digital identification system for every person in Britain. When reporters asked the Prime Minister's office to confirm these figures, watch what happened. The spokesperson said the OBR number was an early estimate, then claimed they don't recognize it as accurate. Said the scope hasn't even been decided yet. They don't know the scope. They haven't costed it properly. But they're already committed to spending nearly £2 billion. That's your money, being thrown at a system they haven't even designed yet. Here's how Labour is selling this to you. They say digital ID will stop the boats, stop illegal immigration, stop illegal working, tighten border security. It's a Trojan horse. They're using immigration fears to build a surveillance system. Conservative MP David Davis just went on record calling it utter madness. He said it will do nothing to stop illegal immigration, described the whole scheme as dystopian and dangerous. And he's absolutely right. Every expert says the same thing. Digital ID won't stop boats crossing the channel, won't stop trafficking, won't stop visa overstayers. But it will cost you £1.8 billion. And here's the kicker. That money isn't coming from new funding. It's coming from existing budgets. The government spokesperson admitted it. Any costs will be met with existing settlements. Translation: no new money. Where? The Home Office budget, the same Home Office that can't control our borders now, the same department that loses data regularly, the same organisation that's failed on immigration for years. Labour is taking £1.8 billion from the Home Office to build a digital ID system that won't solve the problems they claim. Frontline border security, cut. Immigration enforcement, cut. Also, they can build a national database to track British citizens. So why is Starmer trying to bury this story? Why won't they talk about the real cost? The £1.8 billion price tag destroys their narrative completely. Labour has been selling digital ID as a simple, low-cost, common-sense reform. But the OBR official forecast exposes the truth. This is massive. This is expensive. This is risky. £1.8 billion over 3 years makes the whole scheme sound exactly what it is: bureaucratic, intrusive. A surveillance state project with an enormous bill. Now they're scrambling to distance themselves from their own budget numbers. The Prime Minister's spokesperson actually said, "We don't recognize it as an accurate cost." They absolutely do recognize it. The OBR doesn't just make up numbers. They work with government departments. They get the data directly from Treasury and Home Office planning documents. Labour knows exactly how much this will cost. They know exactly when they're rolling it out. By the end of this Parliament, they're starting work immediately. But here's the insane part. They haven't even designed the system yet. The spokesperson admitted the scope is yet to be decided. let alone costed. They're committing nearly £2 billion to a project they haven't designed. They don't know what it will include. They don't know the final scope. But they've already got a massive price tag attached. That makes Labour look completely reckless. Launching a national ID surveillance scheme before they even know what it does, that's not governance, that's chaos. So they're muddying the waters, refusing to confirm costs, claiming everything's provisional, hoping you'll stop asking questions. Labour is terrified of one word: dystopian. The moment the public hears digital ID, alarm bells start ringing. This triggers massive concerns about civil liberties, mass surveillance, government overreach, database security risks, hacking, privacy leaks, the state tracking every citizen's movements. David Davis calling this dystopian is incredibly damaging for Labour. They don't want headlines saying Labour wants to track every citizen with a £2 billion super database. Because that's exactly what this is, a centralised government database containing your personal information, your identity, your movements, all tracked, all stored, all accessible to authorities. And the security risks are enormous. Remember the 2007 HMRC scandal? Labour lost child benefit data for 25 million people. Remember Tony Blair's ID card scheme? Scrapped after massive public backlash. Remember the NHS IT project under Labour? Wasted £12.7 billion. Complete failure. Labour has a track record of catastrophic IT mega projects, and now they want you to trust them with £1.8 billion for a national ID database? If the media frames this correctly as Labour returns to expensive failed Big Brother projects, it becomes a massive political weakness. That's why they're desperately trying to shut down the cost discussion before the privacy discussion explodes. Here's the most damaging part. Every single expert says digital ID won't stop illegal immigration. Labour has repeatedly claimed this is the key to tackling the boats, the centerpiece of their immigration plan, the solution to illegal working. It's complete nonsense, and they know it. People smuggling gangs don't care about digital IDs. Illegal workers use fake documents or work cash in hand. A digital ID system changes none of that. Border security requires physical enforcement, deportation flights, processing centers, international cooperation agreements. None of that comes from a government database. So if the public realizes the truth, the entire policy collapses. You're spending £2 billion on something that won't stop boats, won't stop trafficking, but will track law-abiding British citizens. That's politically toxic. That's the scandal. That's why they're burying this story. And remember where that money comes from. The Home Office budget. Money that could go to actual border security, actual immigration enforcement. Instead, it's being diverted into building a surveillance infrastructure that benefits the government, not the public. This morning, Susanna Reid grilled Rachel Reeves on live television. The question was devastating. In your manifesto, you said Labour will not increase taxes on working people. Then last year you acknowledged that freezing tax thresholds would hurt working people. How can anyone believe anything you say? Rachel Reeves started her answer with, "I'm Chancellor in the world as it is, not in the world that." Classic deflection. Can't answer the question, so blame the circumstances.
When you make a promise in the House of Commons publicly, you acknowledge we can't believe those promises because they could be broken.
Well, Susanna, in the manifesto, it is very clear that it was rates of income tax, national insurance,
No,
and
sorry,
VAT.
I apologise for
those.
interrupting, Chancellor, but that's not true. In the manifesto, it's clear. You said, quote, Labour will not increase taxes on working people. Labour will not increase taxes on working people.
And then the next sentence.
It couldn't,
yes.
yeah, but you didn't have to put that sentence in, Chancellor. You put that sentence in.
Susanna, the next sentence, straight after that. But Susanna, if you then carry on reading the next sentence says the rates. But I do recognise that we have asked from 2028 people to contribute more by freezing those thresholds for an additional 3 years. But people will also see in the budget yesterday that we're helping people in the here and now with the cost.
This is the same pattern with digital ID. They're not telling you the truth. They're hiding the costs. They're refusing to confirm the numbers. Any costs will come from existing budgets. That means cuts to frontline services, less money for police, less money for border enforcement. But £1.8 billion for a database nobody wants, a surveillance system that won't work, a project they haven't even designed yet. Let me summarize what Labour is trying to hide from you. £1.8 billion for a digital ID scheme, money taken from the Home Office budget, cuts to actual border security to fund a surveillance database. The system hasn't been designed, the scope hasn't been decided, but they're already committed to nearly £2 billion of spending. They're selling it as stopping the boats. Every expert says it won't work. It won't stop illegal immigration. It won't stop trafficking. But it will track British citizens. It will create a centralized government database with all your personal information. And it comes with massive security risks. The Prime Minister's office is refusing to confirm the costs, claiming they don't recognize the OBR numbers. But they absolutely do. This is deliberate obfuscation. They buried this in the budget, hoping you wouldn't notice, hoping the media would focus on tax rises and farmers, hoping the £1.8 billion surveillance scheme would slip through quietly. David Davis called it dystopian and dangerous. He's right. This is utter madness, and it's being funded by cutting services you actually need. $26 billion in tax rises announced today, plus $1.8 billion for digital ID nobody wants, all while they break manifesto promise after manifesto promise. This is the scandal they're trying to bury. Don't let them. Drop your thoughts below. Do you want digital ID? Do you trust Labour with £1.8 billion for surveillance? Hit subscribe because this story is just beginning. When this system launches, we'll be covering every privacy violation, every security breach, every broken promise. They think you won't notice. Prove them wrong.